I'm ranaal-falaki.
I'm Patel.
And welcome to
the Nail It podcast.
This is your place to lead better, live fully, and laugh more. It's your blueprint to optimal performance. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Nail It podcast, your place to lead better, live fully, and laugh more. Now, didn't you notice how that just flowed off my tongue because I didn't have to rely on my counterpart Bhavin to try and remember what those words were? So a little bit different today. Sadly, Bhavin couldn't make it, but I just had to have this guest on board. So you just have to going to cope with me and my incredible guest. So who is he with my amazing drum roll? We have got Mehy Presti here. Now, yes, he happens to be a dentist, but that is not who he's about. And you should know by now, I don't like to use labels. So while he happens to have the role of looking after people's oral health and being a parent and a dad and a husband and a friend but I would describe him as this incredible ball of energy. And he also happens to be co-founder of the Global Dental Collective, which we're going to get onto shortly. Hi, Mehy.
Hi, Rana. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Very good. I'm very good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. I know I've been trying to pin you down for a while, which is just like, it's okay. We'll have to be Bavinless and have our own conversation, just the two of us. But I might stick him on at the end to do one of his classic summaries.
Amazing. Thank you.
So before we get into the Global Dental Collective and all that is, I have my usual first opening question for you, Mehy, and that is, as you are on the Nail It podcast, what is your favorite quote and why?
I'm not great at having favorite things. I'm one of these people that are very bad at it. So it kind of changes. But right now, for the last 2-3 years, my favorite quote has been that the worst enemy to creativity is self-doubt. And yeah, that was a quote I heard from it was an American author and poet, Sylvia Plath. I don't know if you heard from her. And she died in she's American but died in Primrosdale, where I was living for a few years in London. Mm-hmm. And somehow I came across where she was living, and then I kind of like came across a bit of what she wrote, and then I got to that quote that really helped me to keep going in moments of weakness, as I call them.
You know, it's so funny. I found doing this podcast now, there are millions of quotes, right? And yet there are some that stand out that we find our guests say the same things. Now, I don't know who is that, because so many of our guests are somewhere in the dental industry. There's some kind of
so this was repeated.
So we've had that one before by George Suker, who works in media. So I mean, he does loads of video training and brand management, and he explained it in a very similar way to you. And it's interesting how you said, say, for the last 3 years, that's helped you push through because you realize that self-doubt is the block that's stopping you from being creative.
Yeah.
So
I really need to meet George now. I need to meet George.
I'll introduce you. You will meet him at my book launch. So there you go.
There you go. There you go.
I shall introduce you both. But I also, as much as I want to talk about self-doubt, I just want to take you back, because I also loved your comment about, I'm not really one for favorites, but this is the one at the moment. And for me, that very much reflects how we are as people when we grow. The person you are today is not the person you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if you were on that growth journey. If you're showing up every day, if you're doing something different, if you're taking action, if you're taking the steps to be a different person, then you won't have a favorite, because you'll have things that resonate with you at any particular moment in time.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I guess I don't know if it's good or bad. Sometimes I get jealous of people that they have it very clear, and they have that favorite that follows them all their life, like it's a principle, their favorite book or color or song. But it's true for me. It's a little bit of in which stage of life I am, and what has been influencing me over the last few years. And I love to have different favorite things at different moments of my life.
Now there are very different. There are two. You could take that conversation two ways. You could think that you're somebody who chops and changes, and therefore doesn't ultimately follow through because you can lack focus. Versus actually, no, I'm growing and evolving, and I'm in alignment. So which is it?
I think a little bit of both. I think a little bit of both. Probably more the first one than the second one, being realistic.
Because these real high achievers, which you are one of those people, you're incredibly dynamic. It can be very, very easy when you have a goal, is you become so creative that you want it all. And it's like, oh, actually, we could do this and we could do this. Oh, and I want to do that. I want to do that. And it can become very, very difficult to maintain the focus and follow through to the end.
Yeah, I think I've learned about this also with the years. I was more trying to do everything, and then with the years, I learned that more through the entrepreneurial mindset, that through the creative mindset, that doing too many things at the same time, it can dilute the message and the effort that you put into something. So you kind of need to pick your battles. It's hard for me, but that's why I surround myself with people that are a bit more grounded and that have that mindset of like, okay, we know where we're going. This is the direction. And then I always probably come up with other things that they remind me that that's great, that this is the direction. Or is it aligned with the direction that we're going? Then we take it on board or not. But yeah, I mean, I'm one of those that, and not only with business or work or everything, with also with hobbies and things I do in my free time. Like I have a new hobby every 2 months. I just came back from my drumming lesson. So and my wife was like, "Okay, so are you going to continue doing it?" It's like, "Yeah, yeah." I signed up for another 8 lessons. So let's see.
So you'll do it for at least 8 weeks.
But at least 8 weeks. That's it, in 8 weeks. Maybe I changed. I like that episode. I like that the movie, the talented Mr. Ripley. You know
Mm.
that one, which and it's like Jude Law is actually looking at the jazz. There's a jazz concert, a jamming, and then he's like, "Ah, actually, now I like the drumming. Oh, maybe I like the saxophone. Oh, actually, did you see the piano? Yeah, this is the next thing I'm gonna play." So I feel like a little bit like this sometimes.
Yeah, so both in your hobbies and your work. And actually, you answered the question I was itching to ask you. So, how do you keep yourself anchored? And you said, actually, it's by the people who are around me. They help to keep me on track. And it's so important, especially when you're an entrepreneur, because we do have insane ideas. I mean, I'm always being told right now, I don't know how on earth you get everything done, and or I can't keep up with you. When you tell me what you're up to, I'm exhausted just listening to you because it's kind of a million and one different directions. But you're right. Well, for me, it's actually about being very organized and strategic about what is my big goal and making sure ultimately everything aligns. So rather than routes that spread outwards, they all ultimately converge. And for you, it's other people. So of course, you have a co-founder for
Hmm.
Global Dental Collective. I want to go on to talking about that and talking about Dentam, but I'm curious also how you found yourself a co-founder.
So I had two co-founders, and one of them it doesn't work with us anymore. And Bruno, which is my current co-founder, we were always friends, best friends, and we were just dreamers. And we started doing something completely different, and we landed on the events, because we wanted to promote the other project that we had. We were building clinics in shipping containers with zero carbon emissions for underdeveloped countries, and everything behind that mindset needed to be with the dentists being in their 100%. And this is why we've started doing an event about mental health like 3 4 years ago, and we wanted to talk about everything that's around dentistry, and in a very particular format, in a very innovative or way, or we had everything in our mind, and we just needed to make it work. And our other co-founder, which doesn't work with us anymore, but he's in super well-known in dentistry, which is Joe Lovett. We cross paths through a conversation, right? Like it's when someone's like, "Hey, I'm doing this," and then in my other side, I'm doing this. Like, okay, why we don't sit and talk? And things happen. So finding a co-founder, like also I see that my house where my wife has an incredible co-founder and they're best friends. Well, they became best friends after. It's I see it more difficult than getting a life partner, a husband or a wife, or someone that you need to be with, because you almost, I mean, I can see it. Almost you have the same conversations. The mindsets needs to be very different than your life partner in a way. So it needs to very fit very well into your life, your mindset. There's going to be discussions, and you need to know how to solve them. Right? There are going to be differences in your ideas and your direction, and the most important is to agree to one of the solutions, right? Or a third one, but that's the key, like in life. So I see that, and we always talk about this, like, wow, like it's so hard to find the right co-founder, right? It's probably the hardest part of it.
Yeah, 100%. And I see that with so many partnerships. And again, we're back to bit entrepreneurs, because the whole thing that makes you an entrepreneur is you're a disruptor, you're an innovator, you're a creator. And then to find someone who not only shares your vision, but is synergistic. So what I mean by that is it becomes 1 + 1 = 3, that both of you come together to create something even bigger. I mean, you need to have, other than alignment, you also need to have incredible communication, and put ego aside.
Ego aside, and full trust on each other. Like that's that. If you ever doubt about each other, that's the beginning of the end. Like, of course, egos aside, full trust. If you start looking over the shoulder, do you say that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And not knowing what the other person is thinking, then things get messy. Like in life, basically, like with your life partner. So I always say a lot of young people, which I love, they have a very entrepreneurial mindset, and doesn't need to be the right co-founder, the one you start with. You might start with one person and you end up with another one, like in life too. But it's fine. It's good to try to have experiences with different people, and you need to be okay with it, right? So that's also important. Don't be super like, oh, if it's not with this person, I can't make it. That's also something to have in consideration, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I tried many. I mean, when we first started running our Nail It events, they were 3-day immersive events. I mean, we called them a triple mastery boot camp, because it really was. I mean, we would take people through these physical experiences. We would gamify everything, so it would mimic something that you're going on in your everyday life, be it being out of control in some way, or heightening one sense and taking another away, and then we would tease stuff out of you to then get you to transform. And I mean, that person who we ran a couple of those together, I love him dearly, one of my best friends, but your best friend doesn't necessarily make the best co-founder.
No,
when
God is the
you're
worst.
trying to drive a business within a certain way, so you both need to share that ambition and drive,
Yeah.
or be complementary, as well as the other things you've been talking about, which is the transparency, the honesty, the integrity, the aligned purpose, the communication, the emotional intelligence, the emotional regulation, all of them being leadership skills, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So on that, you found Bruno, you were creating these dental clinics in shipping in
Well,
shipping
it was,
containers, right?
yeah. The idea was to build this super high end clinics. We actually like work on it for two years, and then we became very knowledgeable about humanitarian and sustainability, and then we saw that, okay, that is very difficult, very difficult words to put together and to navigate. So we found so many blockers that it was almost like the word was against what we were doing. We kept trying, but at the end we landed in doing this event, and we enjoyed them so much, and we saw so much potential, and we actually didn't realize how much people wanted to be
Great.
there. Yeah, so like people were like asking like, when is next? And like, next what? That's it. This is this is it.
Okay, so you decided in this effort that you would create an event. Was the event designed to raise money at the time or awareness?
No, it was the money to, yeah, it was an event to raise awareness, just to
Yeah.
talk. We're
Okay.
just trying to create a safe space. It was like it was called the dental debate, nothing special. But it
The
was in a
dental,
warehouse, the
the
dental
dental
debate.
debate, dental
Yeah,
debate.
dental debate. It was in a warehouse in East London, one of Bruno's businesses, a completely empty warehouse. And we just created a little bit like a TV show style, where all the lights were dimmed, and the light direct on the front. And we had like 12 panelists that they were talking about social media, mental health, and sustainability, and the stories that people were sharing, and the format, it was so welcoming for people to talk and to engage, that people felt like, it's like they forgot that they were around another 200 people. And that was very magical, and we were not expecting this. It was all improvised, by the way. Like we didn't have a script. There was no script, zero script, just questions. And then we ended up everything on a massive party. We're very good at doing parties, and that's actually that was the main reason to do this, the main party. And it's
See,
like, okay, yeah.
I'm just going
So
to interrupt you before you tell me about the party because
yeah,
you said something really poignant there. You talked about we didn't have a script, just questions. And that is actually the best way in life because if you script your life out, then you block your way to a path that maybe you're meant to go on. Whereas if you keep on asking questions, that's exactly what keeps you curious and you get surprised, which you were.
yeah, we were inspired by, well, my sister was who gave me the idea. She's a sociologist and works in humanitarian, but they create these discussion groups where they bring people from different backgrounds, ethnicities, and put the question in the middle, and in a room that is just recording their answers.
Mhm.
And this is how we designed the event, based on this.
So then you had this brilliant event. It sounds like it was very warm, very authentic, very energizing, very surprising. And then you had a big party.
And then we had a big party till 3 in the morning to forget everything that we talked about.
And the feedback was obviously incredible. So how did you fill up the room? Because normally, and it was it dentists?
It was dentists, people
The
from the
dental debate.
profession.
Because
I didn't know.
normally we end up saying, oh, yeah, come along. And most people just look for like, okay, give me the aims, the objectives, the what am I going to get out of this? How much CPD am I going to get? So you must have said something different for them to realize. And there's obviously an appetite there for something different.
Yeah, I always the funny thing is I always say that people sign up to our events without even knowing what they're signing up for. Yeah, I'm super grateful for it. And the first one was, obviously, I was completely out of the industry. Like, I was doing my own dentistry, my own thing. I was never really going to any other events, to be honest. And I actually studied in Spain, came to London, so I never really got engaged into the dental community. So it was actually Joe who was bringing sponsors. He knew everyone, and then we started. The board was growing. People came, had an amazing time, and then it was just like we were launching things without people knowing where they were coming from. Especially like when we were evolving the format, that we evolved to Dentorama, which was the next event.
Mhm.
We didn't even know how to explain that we were bringing actors to play real life scenarios that happened in a clinic, and people were so confused. Still, we filled a room with 350 people
Incredible.
for an evening in Mayfair. What are the topics? They were like, well, the topic, I think the topic was, it was not a clear topic. It was more about like the complications that people go through in the clinic in relation with the patients.
Yeah.
So, we had actors that they were playing moments that had to happen to all of us. It wasn't all in a comedy. It was written by a theater director, by Nicole, and that was amazing too. That was actually one of my favorites. But we didn't really know how it would go. And again, the conversations were.
This was last year, November 25.
No, that's the first time we did Dentorama was 2023. That was the first Dentorama.
Okay, because then you did another Dentorama.
We did another Dentorama.
And then you won an award. Well, you got highly commended by the British.
Yeah, I was Formula Noir. That was a new version of Dentorama, which was over dinner for 150 people in an old church in Milan. That was again a completely different format. At that point, I'm more into immersive experience, and I know more about how to make people feel part of the event. So then we incorporated a lot of different elements, and we try a lot of things. We tested so many things that we saw what works, what didn't work. So yeah, it was great. Say again, sorry.
Such as what
worked?
Oh,
what worked? I mean, the venue was incredible. So the people were super impressed in an abandoned church, and that we created all that in literally one day, all what they were seeing. It was great. The food was amazing, and people just love to be together. This is the thing that people, if you do things with care and love, people appreciate it so much. And something that happened is that the sound wasn't very good, so people couldn't hear the actors very well. That was in between the dinner. And even though, like, people really know how much effort and how much you care and everything, that people really still, like, hey, didn't went as expected, but still was an amazing event. Of course, I was like, not having the best time, thinking, oh my God, this could have been better. We could have done this, could have done that. But, it's what it is.
The self-doubt.
Self-doubt.
Trying to stop further creation.
Yeah, which if that self-doubt was before during the event, we would have never done this event. It was like 70 people working in an event for 150 people. And we only had access to build all that word in the same morning.
So the Royal Albert Hall,
yeah,
is not has very poor acoustics.
Yeah.
And yet, it hosts the proms, right?
Yeah.
The point is, how did they work that out? And then, but they've had time. They've had time to fail. They've had time for things not to be so good. And then they've built in systems, in their case, a ton of domes on the top of the ceiling, to improve things. So it's trial and error, isn't it? We always use this term called fail forward. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, to keep failing, but keep moving. Every time you fail, you move further forward. So you wouldn't have known. So what I'm hearing about the words that are jumping out at me are unique, disruptive, immersive, venue. So that kind of goes into the uniqueness, connection, community, fun,
safe. And yeah.
Any other values like to put on that?
And I think now for me, all these years has been like a little bit of research. And now I'm getting obsessed with education and how can that message really sink on people. And now that's why we're going to, with the next events, we're going to tap into clinical education because we've discovered that everything that we're doing, it really sinks into your memory, and whatever you learn from what you see and the conversations, it really stays. But when I go to a place and I see an amazing lecture, I don't remember the slides. I don't remember a lot of what I see, and it's such a shame, So we're working very hard on trying that everything that you see in that event stays with you. That's what we're working on. And so education is a big thing now for well, it was always that, people thought that we're trying to do entertainment, but we're trying to do education.
So and education can be anything, right? You may be giving people clinical facts, or you may actually be educating them about the type of person they want to be, or just simply helping to engage their memory. But in the learning pyramid, that, all those things we talked about, experiential, immersive, the more senses that you can engage, the more participation you can have, because you also talked about that, then the higher up in the learning pyramid you become, until, if you actually are fully immersed and you're engaged and you're playing and you're having fun, then you learn and retain. I think it's almost 90% greater.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
exactly.
when I put my dentist hat on and I teach my crown lengthening course on a diploma, these poor students don't know what's hit them, because I suddenly jump into role play, and I just start acting like this complete psychotic patient who's completely mad and worrying about like 1 millimeter of gingiva or whatever, and I go around the room, so no one can escape, because everybody has to say something and have their part. No one can speak up over someone else, but at the same time it's fun and it's engaging and it's immersive, and then they remember the procedure and exactly what it is they're supposed to do, and they remember all of the problems and all of the things you have to say and the step by step you have to do, because they've been forced to do it, but in a fun, engaging way. So I
Exactly.
love that. So you have got, Dentorama, Molenoir. All of it has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And now there is an event now being set up. You've shown me some plans. September 2025, 26. We're in this.
26, yeah.
So tell
18th,
me.
18th and 19th of September.
Yep.
This is 2 full days. So from the morning to the evening. We used to do just evening events. Now it's 2 full days. And this is where we're literally going, 10 times bigger in everything, on time and on production, on a number of speakers, of attendees. And it's basically what our interpretation of a dental conference. It's a little bit of a festival style format where you can go to an event and then you have another 4 events that you can pick, for different rooms, for different words, for different layouts. One is more clinical, one is more business oriented, one is more mouth-body connection, and one is more fraud prevention. So this is what we built for September. Dentown.
Yes, Dentown.
Dentown.
So you're taking over this big building. So you're going to have, if anyone wants clinical skills, if they want to learn about business skills and marketing skills, if they want to learn about the the mouth body connection, which obviously, I love all that stuff. So about how to then be a healthier person, not just for your patients, but also for yourself as well. And then obviously clinical skills and preventative skills, which is going to be amazing. And I know all the speakers that you're gradually been announcing them. It's people who are bought into your philosophy, right? Because this is not going to be death by PowerPoint, because you don't remember the slides, right? Like you said.
Yeah, we're bringing people like Galib Gurel, David Montalvo, Florin Kofar. It's people that they have their slides, and we are allowing people to have the slides. But what happens is, before and after those slides appear, they have also a specific I wouldn't say orders, but a specific guidelines of what will happen. So everything aligns with the rest of the event. But the idea is that you could take your whole team, because every room is designed for someone in your team. You could decide where to be. And the idea is that you leave with a blueprint by the end of the weekend with what you want to apply in your clinic, from the patient acquisition to the delivery of the treatment. So you can, everyone that speaks, interacts, from partners, sponsors, speakers, ourselves, as well, with that idea that we are part of that workflow that you can apply on Monday. You can decide which pieces they fit in my system, which pieces they don't. And the idea is that you start picking from all the different 2 days.
Fantastic. And that's such a lovely alignment, right? It's what are you going to go away with? You're not just going to go away with CPD points or thinking, oh, that was a good conference and that was a great experience and I had fun. But actually, I've got a blueprint for
Yeah.
what I want to do come Monday morning, whether that's clinical or whether that's completely something else, because you're going to have had an experience as well and met some other incredible people, I'm sure, which is wonderful. Wow.
Which is the key. The people that you will know. Yes.
So before I get on to, I want to ask you about the Nail It pillars, and you've touched on so many aspects of them today. There are two questions I want to ask, but I won't stack. So first one, people have to come to this event to Dentown, September the 18th and 19th, 2026, a Friday, Saturday. It's in my diary. How can they book tickets? How can they find out more?
Very easy, globaldentalcollective.com. We made it very easy. Now I think, there are tickets, and it's super. I think it costs half of the price of any other conference of that level in UK. So we wanted to make it very accessible. It's in central London, at friend's house. It's called the venue in front of Euston Station. So it's very easy to access from everywhere. King's Cross is literally 5-minute walk. So yeah, globaldentalcollective.com is where you do
Brilliant.
it.
And you can follow the Instagram site, Global
Also
Global
Instagram. Yeah.
Collective.
There you can see
Well,
also the news about the speakers that we're releasing, formats, news. So yeah.
fantastic. Yay! And no, I've got one other question before the final one, which is we talked about when you and I first connected and I saw the stuff you were doing, I was like, yes, this is somebody really doing something different. This is someone stepping outside of the box, not being stuck in a this is how we should do it or this is how it's always been done. You are truly a disruptor. You and Bruno have stepped into that field and are aiming to disrupt in the best possible way. What is it about you that has that desire to disrupt?
I don't know if I have a desire to disrupt, but I have a desire to do things different than what I kind of enjoyed, because it didn't work with me. I don't think I took advantage of my clinical education or academic education because of the formats, because of there was no space to be yourself. So everything that we do, we're not trying just to bring entertainment to a dental event. We're really trying for people to acquire knowledge in the right way, and even everything that we design is with that intention. Even the layouts of the rooms, the speakers, even the partners that we pick, like we first get together and see if we are going to the same direction. This is what we're doing. This is what we want to do. We have massive companies that work with us, and they respect that. They said this is how you do things, and we're okay with it. So we just don't. I don't try to do things to disrupt. I don't try to do things to just make it different. I just think this is the way it would have worked with me, and I know that there's a lot of people that it would work with them too. And this is it. We're just trying to help people to actually get better at what they do, and also, dentistry has such a toxic environment sometimes, unfortunately, and we can get into that word of negativity, and for us, it's just having that date where things change and get inspired, and you're proud of being on this profession, and you're proud of saying to your friends, wow, this is an event and it's only for people in dentistry. Which is not, but people love that, no? And I love when people from other industries, I don't know, in fashion, just why these have such cool events, no? Or in music or in theater, and we need to have this very square and old style meetings. Why we can't do it different? So that's why.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by disruptor exactly. It's
Well,
not
yeah.
no, right. It's not just not following the norm. And you've said it. And you see, I wanted to ask because so often the seeds of these things come from your own personal experiences. And so the image I got when you talked about that was someone who was at university who wasn't necessarily learning the way everybody else was. And we people do not learn in the same way, and yet you get fed stuff in the same way. So it's what I'm hearing you say is you recognize that one size doesn't fit all. So we have different, and to educate people and to educate them effectively, you need to be able to, well, multisensory, you need to be able to, multisensory learning is the most effective way of learning, and everybody taps in and learns in completely different ways. And that's something that being a disruptor, Global Dental Collective can provide to do something different.
Yeah, yeah. I tested very well my memory during university, my
Yeah.
photographic memory. But then that's all what I really learned, how to memorize things in a fast way. But I was a terrible student. I've been always. I mean, I think still I'm a terrible student. Uh, but I think there are other ways of learning, and I would love to explore this with people. And obviously, I don't decide how this works. It's just all about, hey, this works with me. What is been working with the other people, and then we try to do something that will help.
That's amazing. I love that. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Your
So,
work.
the last question, back to Nail It. You are on this Nail It podcast. So, we always ask our guests out of the 6 key pillars of the Nail It system, which resonates with you the most?
It was super hard. I mean, I'm sure everyone says the same, but I can't conceive one without the other. But going back to the same topic of probably today, I think limitless is probably my favorite. I think probably is the first pillar that I would place, and that would point that direction. And then the other ones would probably say how far can I go,
In
but
around
uh,
you. Yeah.
but I think that would be my first pillar, and then obviously to get there, I'll need to apply the other ones like attitude and the other ones. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's very, and you're absolutely right. I mean, the whole point of it being pillars is they all hold something up. So
yeah,
you one goes and the rest weakens. That is how you become whole. But limitless, yes, it's the boundless beliefs method. So in amongst that, we've obviously got your beliefs, listening to everything you're saying. Every single thing is a belief. Your self-talk, the things you tell yourself, the stuff you write, the things you say to other people, your values, even your bad values are a belief because you believe them to be important. So what beliefs might be limiting you? How do they become more empowering to propel you forward? Determining what is true and what is truth. So really shedding the limelight to really challenge yourself on your belief systems, understanding whether something is fear or whether it's just it's something that you just need to push through. How do you overcome fear? How do you overcome stress? What is the stress mindset? We know all the research shows actually if you think stress is bad and you see it as a challenge, that's when it actually does the damage, not stress itself.
yeah.
And at the same time, really needing to instill habits and align your energy. So manipulate your own energy with all of the energetic influences to push through and be limitless. Yeah, so you're right. They all of them lift you up, but every single one has its own little bit of uniqueness. So I think the phrase I use with the boundless beliefs method with limitless is what I call effortless leadership, because life does become effortless that way when you're willing to push through and align, which is fantastic.
Some
Thank
point.
you so much for
Thank you.
joining me today, and I'm so glad I managed to pin you down. It's been such a privilege. I'm sure we're going to continue many, many more conversations, Mehy, and good luck
I'm
with the
sure.
drums.
Thank you very
Or I
much.
should
Yeah,
be
that's
saying
what
good
I
luck
did.
to
Luck.
your wife with the drums.
Yeah, good luck to my neighbors if I actually make it. Thank you.
Beyond
Thank you.
beyond the 8 lessons. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thanks for
All
having me.
Thank you. So that's it for today. No doubt I might tag on a little bit of Bavin's commentary at the end and see what his take is, but I'm sure he will be completely wowed and one of the first people signing up to go to this event. So save those dates in your diary, 18th, 19th of September, Global Dental Collective. Take a look at the website, follow the Instagram. This is definitely something you want to watch. It's so aligned with everything we believe in at Nail It. So thank you again to our amazing guest, Mehy Presti, and bye-bye for now. Thanks for listening to the Nail It podcast. We would love it if you would leave us a 5-star review. And if you'd like to feature as one of our guests or you're ready to nail it, then check out our events, programs and educational courses by visiting nailitindentistry.com.